All right, people, welcome back to the Coach's Desk. Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of From Trackside Podcast. How is everyone doing? I trust that everybody is doing well and everybody is doing all right. So, people, two things we want to talk about is the MVP said this about the training camp, and agent QB Sigoben came out and tell us what is really happening in track and field where finances are concerned. So before we get into the details, please remember to like the video, share the content, subscribe to the channel if you're new so that you can become a part of the Coach's Desk family. So the MVP yearly annual track and field training program, and its advanced training program that was held at the Montego Bay Sports Complex. They described the day as a successful one and set the stage for what is expected to be an upcoming track and field season. Over 100 students from 23 schools across the county of Cornwall were taken through drills by World Athletics certified coaches in 6 different areas of track and field. Bruce James, of course, is the president of MVP Track Club, said the targets were met. The Cornwall leg of the MVP Track Club Advanced Training Program, both athletes and coaches learned a lot and are excited at the prospect of the 2024 season based on what they learned. Now, the athletes were at a different levels, from beginners to national junior representatives. They were taken through drills and exposed to track and field events such as sprinting, hurdles, middle distance running, throws, and jumps. Now, athletes from Rhodes Hall and Mushet High topped the awards. Character Games gold medalist Rihanna Lewis and her teammate Jodie Tomlinson of Rhodes Hall High were among the top female performers, as well as Vernez Nelson of Lacovia, Denny Colstock of Green Highland High, Kimari White of Mannings, and Tanisha Gooden of Mushet were also in the mix. Now, Mushet High had 2 of the top boys in Johan Romaldo Smith and Osman Holt, and Tashawn Barnes of Steertown Academy, Romaine Campbell of Petersfield High, Adante Morgan of Lacovia High, and Devon Stevens of Herbert Morrison Technical. Susan Richie Brown of York Castle High was named the top coach of the day. So kudos to MVP Track Club on continuing to ensure that they are a part of the development of the track and field on the island. Now, of course, we know that one world championship 400 meter sprinter Antonio Watson, he was a part of this camp many years ago. So MVP definitely feeling good about that. Now, moving on to the other story. Athlete agent QB Sigoben dispel myth and about high earnings across track and field. And this comes off the heel of the debacle between Elaine Thompson-Era and her former Coach Osborne. So a lot of people are saying a lot of stuff, but he has this to say about what is happening in the spectrum of track and field. Now, he's an athlete manager. He is the former manager of Johan Blake. Yes, Johan Blake. And he's saying that contrary to popular opinion, the sport of track and field is not that lucrative. And we have known that from over the years. To substantiate his view, he offered a detailed explanation of how coaches and athletes earn from the sport. Now, finances in the sport have been a popular discussion topic in recent days, with the public speculating just how much athletes earn from compelling and from where exactly their earnings come from. And this had to do with like I said before, the situation with Elaine Thompson-Era. Definitely, he said that they're the exception to the rule. He said there's a handful or so that you can tell that are making that kind of money, big money. And he made mention of this because yeah, man, the 100 mil. You understand? Now, you can see the endorsements that they have. They live a nice lifestyle because of the work ethic and the accolades that they have achieved. However, these athletes are those who have taken care to make themselves more than just athletes in competition, transcending that level to instead become personal brands who are easily marketable and attractive for endorsement deals. This means as well that having charisma is key to big earning. So you can't be there sulking up yourself. You have to ensure that you portray a persona that people can really see that you can push a brand. You know what I mean? Now, that's most important, according to Sig Goben. Put yourself in the shoes of a sponsor. He suggested, would you want to sign with an athlete that behaves a certain way? Young athletes and athletes in general don't understand how important your brand is. To carry yourself in a certain way, be able to speak properly, to be able to even under the worst situations, be polite and be respectful. People look at that. Interestingly, very, very interesting. Now, the primary source of income for athletes is the contracts they sign with shoe brands, as well as fees and prizes from competition. That would be like if they go on the Diamond League circuit, whatever meet that they go, you know what I mean? Now, the more you achieve, especially if you are a junior athlete about to start a professional career, the better the terms on offer tend to be. In many cases, these terms may even be more suitable than terms offered to athletes in their prime looking for new deals, but who are not necessarily top names in their event. Now, these companies normally are looking for young athletes. He said, as you go past 26, companies are not interested in you because you're on the other side of your athletic ability. And they look at your lifespan because of at 31 or 32, they are going to get much. You're not going to get much better. Essentially, that's what he's saying. Once you go past 25, it's difficult to get deal unless you're an Olympic or world champion or world record holder or you're burning up the track. He said that the like-minded agents in this instance with younger athletes look to negotiate clauses with the welfare of their clients in mind. So if your agent is not doing that, thinking about your welfare, think about the agent. Sigobin said he always negotiate within contracts on education category where the company pays for the athlete to go to junior college, private lessons, or a 4-year institution. He also said that negotiate a retainer, a coaching fee, and a therapy payment to keep the athlete healthy. Sometimes I negotiate accommodation expenses. If you're getting an apartment, I also negotiate a travel allowance for them to go to meets where we don't have to pay for them to go to meets until they're established. Very interesting. Very, very interesting there. That's a sign of a good agent. Is that so? Tell me what your thoughts are. Now, these contracts typically carry a duration of 3 years, but in many cases, there's an option to extend it to a 4. The figures on these contracts are also subject to change. They might go down or they might go up based off what you do. He said an example is where it raises by 10,000 US, that's 1.5 million, or 15,000 over 2 million per year, or what is known as a rollover, wherein incentives for winning major events are included in the figure E for the following year. There's also the possibility of a reduced figure, like I said before, based on bad form or athletic experience of fall in their ranking for the year. So basically, the add-ons would be if you go to the different meets, you win Diamond League, you make it to a global final, and you make it in the top 3. There are different incentives for that athlete as they go. Now, these figures are also determined by the event an athlete competes in. Athletes in such events as sprints, hurdles races, and long distance races, which are generally more popular with spectators and television audience, tend to earn more than the counterparts who compete in certain field events, especially those events that are sometimes left off the itinerary at meets in the World Athletics, Diamond League, and Continental Tour. So the sprinters and the long distance people, they make the money, people. They make the money. As regards to Diamond League and Continental Tour, marquee athletes have a stronger voice when negotiating their participation terms. Along with their prize earnings, they get to negotiate an appearance fee and even who they compete against. Really? That's interesting. If you have a marquee athlete at a meet, and a meet warns the agent will say, if you are my athlete, you have to pay so much. I'll give you a reduced price, but you have to take this and athletes as well. Wow, interestingly. So the agent really have the big talk, people, in terms of choosing who the athletes work with. Interesting. Sometimes these causes a lot of confusion. Athletes will see certain people in a meet and say, how did that person get in and I can't? Then you have to look at the source who's pulling on whose coattail. Diamond League also offers a travel allowance of $1,000 US. Athletes with a lesser reputation will likely have to pay the money out of pocket so as to have their technical staff travel with them, whereas marquee athletes can negotiate to have their coaches and other staff accommodated. Other than that, if you want your therapist with you, you got to pay for that. You have to pay for the ticket, for the housing, and if you want your coach to go with you, you have to pay for that too. In some cases, an athlete's club will make these payments, but if it will have to be reimbursed by the athlete. People, this is very telling, Athletes also have to pay taxes on prize monies earned. These depend on their country they compete in. This is why an athlete may opt to compete in specific Diamond League meeting over another. Depending on the country or origin athlete, he or she may also have to pay an income tax in their homeland along with the other taxes. But in some cases, there may be an agreement between governments of both countries to waive these fees. And that's why Usain Bolt indicated that, I like compete in London, because I think that was like in England, that was like a 50% tax on that. Nothing is free, Sigoben said. When people say you can make a lot of money, very few people are. I challenge anybody to tell me otherwise. You can tell who are the ones that are making a lot of money. It's selling a lot of young people think athletes are pig in the bag and telling them this and that. It's a lot of misinformation and disinformation. Wow. So here you have it, people. Sigobin basically tell us what really happens on the circuit where athletes are concerned. And the athletes are not making a ton of money. You want to share your comment in the comment section, people? Share your thoughts, man. Until next time, peace out.